Alright, we're going to do the rest of Remedy 2 as a bonus episode of the Henry George Daily Devotional to make up for overlooking it. The Remedy 2 is from the diffusion of education, improved habits of industry and thrift. And mostly, according to my précis, um, chapter 2, I'm not chapter 2, it's all chapter 1, Remedy 2. We had summarized this as people think poor people should just work harder. This lets rich, successful people feel good about their position. This is more severe in the USA than in the old world. Hard work and intelligence only provide a relative benefit, like a race can only be won by one runner. Where everyone gets smarter and works harder, no laborer would receive higher wages. I made a special note that I think this is similar to dating and the bloating of education. Not so sure about my ideas. Much more sure of George's. George had a funny anecdote about Franklin getting his boss to be a vegetarian, and then finally, uh, his boss had like two women over, and then had a pig for them, but ate it all before they showed up. Very extremely humorous. All right, and then thriftiness. If a person is thrifty, they can save. But if the whole class of people are thrifty, then every landlord will just raise rent or lower their wages. I guess he's got some examples from cigar makers and watchmakers. I remember him talking about where it's expected in certain families or in certain industries for a family to work together, like the wife and kids, wages will go down, whereas certain industries where it's expected that only the only the father works, the wages will sort of stay at that level. Like if you're in an industry where it's expected that just the father works, and you're paid a certain wage, if you start using your family to help you, and so doing, you're like basically making more, then if that becomes widespread in your industry, then the wages will lower a bit. All right, and then finally, education is similar to the hard work and intelligence, where it is special, where one person gets it or an individual, they can do well for themselves. But once it is broadly distributed, it's absorbed by land owners. Um, yeah, see, that was me talking about education up there. And then he gave an example of I think black folks despairing of education when they realize there's no opportunity for them. I remember there being some little anecdote about a man thinking that the black children were actually brighter than the white children up until they were like 12-ish or something, when they sensed that the best they could do would be like a cooker or something, and so they despaired. All right, that's my recap. Um, this is Dr. Franklin and his vegetarian. Um, Malthusian theory. Effects of education. This is gentleman. Um, is this maybe where we left off? Be this as it may, it is evident that intelligence, which is or should be the aim of education, that seems familiar to me, but we'll go with it, until it induces and enables the masses to discover and remove the cause of unequal distribution of wealth, can operate, yes. So the only good education is a Georgist education. If it's not that, all it can do upon wages is only by increasing the effective power of labor. Um, it has the same effect as increased skill or industry. I mean, here's the thing: society as a whole benefits because we're counting in the people who take advantage, who own the labor, which sometimes the most educated are the same people as the landed folk for a time. But George says in the long run, in an empire, the landed folk will basically cease to work and only care about maintaining their position and their wealth. I think this sort of creeps in, um, but that's, yeah. When to read and write were rare accomplishments, a clerk commanded high respect and large wages, but now the ability to read and write has become so nearly universal as to give no advantage. Yep. Among the Chinese, the ability to read and write seems absolutely universal, but wages in China touch the lowest possible point. Yep. The diffusion of intelligence, except as it may make men discontented with a state of things which condemns producers to a life of toil, while non-producers loll in luxury, cannot tend to raise wages generally or in any way improve the condition of the lowest class, the mudsills of society, as a Southerner senator once called them. Oh, that's what he called them. The mudsills of society, as a Southern senator once called them. Who must rest on the soil no matter how high the superstructure may be carried. I guess that's what a mudsill is. Should we Google mudsill? Supporting sill, resting directly on a base, especially of the earth. Yeah. Something that's always a funny thing to me when I think about structures of buildings. Like ultimately, they're just kind of sitting on a bunch of dirt. I mean, you can pound as many nails as you want. You can pour as much concrete on it as you want. But it's just like, yeah. As somebody who doesn't think about construction very much, when I do, it's pretty funny to me. No increase of the effective power of labor can increase general wages so long as rent swallows up all the gain. This is not merely a deduction from principles, it is the fact proved by experience. The growth of knowledge and the progress of invention have multiplied the effective power of labor over and over again without increasing wages. Yes, I got somewhat upset. Let's see if I can pull it up. Profile. Uh, what? I made replies? Yes, this guy. Um, this post, insane that an economics professor would claim technologies can't eliminate poverty. The Green Revolution was all about technology. Um, how you blah, blah, blah. Sorry, but the problem. Somebody says. I don't know. Sorry, but the problem with golden rice is that it's not just a fundamental issue. People lack vitamin A because they're too poor to have it in huge amounts. Technologies can't eliminate poverty. And this guy's saying it's insane that a professor would claim technologies can't eliminate poverty. The Green Revolution was all about all this. This is basic history. And now, and this guy says, never doubt that technology can. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And actually, one of my favorite programmers, game designers, like responded positively to this. And then I said, Max for George said, are those final insanely clever technological innovations still eluding us as a species? Is that why we still have mass poverty on planet Earth? No way, Jose. It's the fact that we deny people access to land. Read Henry George. I misspelled Henry George. Uh, yeah, if people want to keep saying that we need more and more technology, like, look the fuck around. I'm on a piece of tech. I'm using a piece of technology. You're using a piece of technology right now, watching this, that is incredibly, unimaginably highly developed and difficult to create for it. It's beyond conception of primitive man. Uh, and yet, go 3 miles or 5 miles that way, and you can basically find primitive men. Uh, so what's the deal? You know, like yes, technology is a necessary thing for creating enough wealth for everybody, right? Like if we never invented the wheel, uh, like maybe there wouldn't be enough just like good land for us to all live as simple hunter-gatherers. So you need some forms of technology, true, but as long as those forms of technology can be owned by just a minority, then you're gonna have poverty. It's not. It drives me nuts because so many smart people fall for the technology solution, and then I mean maybe they can try to wiggle their way out by saying better forms of government is a form of superior technology. Social technology is like what Samo Bruja blogs about, and he's very popular among the I think that's what he uses that term. Uh, and he's very popular among the techno-optimistic people. Uh, all right. Anyway, the growth of knowledge and the progress of invention have multiplied the effective power of labor over and over again without increasing wages. In England, there are over 1 million paupers. In the United States, almshouses are increasing and wages are decreasing. It is true that greater industry and skill produce greater prudence, and a higher intelligence are, as a rule, found associated with a better material condition of the working classes. But that this is effect, not cause, is shown by the relation of the facts. Wherever the material condition of the laboring classes has been improved, improvement in their personal qualities has followed. And wherever their material condition has been depressed, deterioration in these qualities has been the result. But nowhere can improvement in material condition be shown as the result of the increase of industry, skill, prudence, or intelligence in a class condemned to toil for a bare living, though these qualities, when once attained, or rather their concomitant, the improvement in the standard of comfort, offer a strong and in many cases a sufficient resistance to the lowering of material condition. Yeah, this was an this was a new idea to me when I first read it. I mean, I guess I'd heard things similar to it. Um, the argument that uh, the effect of having greater industry and skill, prudence, and higher intelligence uh, is due to having better um, material conditions. And when you think about it, you may not buy it, but I'm fairly convinced if I had grown up in a much, much less financially stable home, I would have developed very differently intellectually and morally. Um, Maybe I still could be. I could have been greater still in a greater home still. I am not without my failings. The fact is that the qualities that raise man above the animal are superimposed on those which he shares with the animal, and that it is only as he is relieved from the wants of his animal nature that his intellectual and moral nature can grow. Compel a man to drudgery for the necessities of animal existence, and he will lose the incentive to industry, the progenitor of skill. Industry is the progenitor of skill, and will do only what he is forced to do. Make his condition such that it cannot be much worse, while there is little hope that anything he can do will make it much better, and he will cease to look beyond the day. Deny him Deny him leisure, and leisure does not mean the want of employment, but the absence of the need which forces to uncongenial employment. And you cannot, even by running the child through a common school and supplying the man with a newspaper, make him intelligent. It is true that improvement in the material condition of a people or class may not show immediately in mental and moral improvement. Increased wages may at first be taken out in idleness and dissipation, but they will ultimately bring increased industry, skill, intelligence, and thrift. Comparisons between different countries, between different classes in the same country, between the same people at different periods, and between the people when their conditions are changed by emigration show, as an invariable result, that the personal qualities of which we are speaking appear as material conditions are improved, and disappear as material conditions are depressed. Poverty is the slough of despond which Bunyan saw in his dream. I believe that's pronounced slow. It's like a ditch, swamp, characterized by lack of progress or activity.
Slough.
It is slough. Man, don't trust me. Slough of despond, which Bunyan saw in his dream, and into which good books may be tossed forever without result. To make people industrious, prudent, skillful, and intelligent, they must be relieved from want. If you would have the slave show the virtues of the free man, you must first make him free. Alright, that was finishing off the second remedy proposed that is currently advocated for, that is insufficient, which is the idea that education and thrift would help the lower class or stave off uh, recessions.